Hey everyone, Jack with the Cryton Chronicles,
Hi, I'm Kate.
and we're here to discuss and review the Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 2, Stormborn. So, I feel like, I guess this was almost like another, it felt more like of a continuation of a kind of setup for the season, I guess,
Yeah.
with a lot of stuff. We did get more action, which was pretty good. But there's some things with that we'll get to. So we started off. Well, actually, we're kind of just going to go through characters rather than just scene by scene. Kind of try to lump them together, maybe go a little faster. So we're going to talk about you have Jon Snow and Sansa, and him deciding to take the call from Daenerys to go visit Dragonstone. And it seems to be a common theme, I guess, that everybody questions everything Jon Snow decides to do, even though he's supposedly King of the North, which kind of annoys me, but I kind of get it with Sansa because they're, it's a sibling thing and all that, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of, just so much questioning of anything he does.
Yeah, there is a lot of questioning.
So, but, in this scene, what was it? It was kind of just the lords. They all disagreed with him going there, and obviously Sansa was not wanting any part of that. And obviously he decided anyway him and Davos would go because he wants allies, and Davos threw in the very odd line. It was like, we said fire kills White Walkers. What has fire or whatever? Dragons.
Yeah.
I'm like, bravo, Davos. You're awesome. I like that character a lot, but it just seems like he's just kind of, no. He's just kind of there. So, I don't know. What did you think of those scenes?
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. It was okay. It was, the whole, everyone is having their own reasons as why he shouldn't go. And then, he's just like, I'm going anyways.
It was kind of one of the first ones where I think Lady Mormont, is it Aliana or something? Like, she did not agree with it, actually. So
right, she's pretty much by his side.
Pro Snow,
yeah.
So, but yeah, so I don't know. He's deciding to go to Dragonstone, and I guess they want to find the Dragon Glass. So and then the other scene with Jon was pretty much confrontation with Littlefinger. So, and I don't know. I thought it was all right. I mean, Littlefinger's just creepy in general.
Right.
So, but the whole threatening him thing just didn't seem the smartest, I guess.
Right.
Like,
because you're gonna be leaving.
Yeah, you're leaving.
And Sansa's with Littlefinger while you're gone.
Yeah.
So,
like, did he put somebody in charge to watch and make sure that they don't, whatever? But they've already been talking.
Right.
Like, he should already know that Littlefinger is already tied. So it's like, because he said, like, if you talk to her, I'll kill you myself. Da, da, da. Okay, I get that, but I don't know. That seemed just kind of like not the best placed threat, I guess, if he's leaving. And like, you can just not like the guy and like want nothing to do with him or whatever, but like, also he's proven, I'm assuming, he hopefully knows how conniving and sneaky and whatever he is, that he just won't he doesn't want him as a full-blown enemy. He could have just played it like, sure, buddy, whatever, just cause, but still know who he is. So I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, I think those were about the only scenes with like Jon and Davos and Sansa. Sansa's left in charge, so who knows what will kind of happen there, because she has a totally different take and like political stance than Jon.
She's a way different form of ruling. And
yeah, that's what I mean. So it seems kind of weird, but I mean, I get it. Like, so,
hopefully she'll instill the trust that Jon's giving her to watch over the North.
Yeah. So, and then we've got we got Cersei, and Jaime, Qyburn, and Randall, what is it? Tarly. So, and they were kind of having, those scenes were basically, oh yeah, shoot, I didn't say like spoilers at the beginning. I'll have a spoiler review on my thing though, but the Jon stuff isn't too much of spoilers, but This is a spoiler review. I gotta remember to say that at the beginning. Sorry about that weird randomness there. But yeah, so with Cersei, they're just basically vain to try to get lords and houses to, you know, swear their loyalty to her and their cause, because they know that a lot of these people have sworn other oaths. Like, for example, Randall, they've been with the Tyrells, and obviously Cersei pretty much killed, is it Olenna's children or whatever,
Yeah.
daughter, and all that, and the capital when she did is it Dragonfire, or what do they call it?
Yeah, I think so.
No, there was something else. I don't remember what it was called. I thought it was Dragonfire, but they said it was something else. Wildfire, I think.
Oh, okay.
So, but like, so, you know, she's just trying to get those ducks in a row, I guess, basically, and make sure that she actually has an army, because she has so many enemies.
Mhm.
I mean, everybody pretty much hates her.
Yeah.
So, and then you got Jaime trying to convince Randall and such. So, and I'm wondering if at some point there's going to be some confrontation between Randall, because I believe that was Sam's father. So, you know, and they are always at odds, but
Yeah.
I still in my head, like, I got my own little thing, like, somehow he's gonna somehow win approval of his father. Like, not that you would want that guy's approval, because he seems like a dick, but it's kind of like his upbringing and just his belief system, whatever. So,
Right.
you know, and Sam's always kind of been his own thing, like, so, but I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, it would be interesting to see. I mean, Sam just always wants approval of, well, one, his father, but also just other people to feel like he's part
Yeah.
of something bigger,
Yeah.
you know?
So, and otherwise, there's Qyburn, and they kind of discussed with Cersei. They were down in the, I don't even know, some holler dungeon where they kept the bones of all the dragons and stuff that were slaughtered and whatnot from the wars past. And, you know, so he was like, he was hinting that they've been working on the problem. And so, yeah, they pretty much just unveiled basically just a huge crossbow, which, I don't know, I guess I thought they would always kind of have.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but it was a heavy duty one, and, you know, so they showed it, and it's like, that's great, and I'm kind of, obviously they're going to play a role. I guess I'm predicting one of the dragons maybe go down by one. It definitely hit, if not
Right.
killed, but
Right.
like, at the same time, it's like, it's one thing you're shooting it and showing, okay, it goes through a dragon skull or whatever, cool, but when they're flying around and doing all that stuff, and you have to, like, time and with the trajectory and to shoot it, whatever,
Right.
that's like a whole other beast. So I'm not sure how effective it will be or how many they have. If it's just one, obviously I feel like you're going to want, you know, a very specific moment for that to happen. So,
Right.
but, so I'm kind of curious to see if that's like just kind of like a little foreshadowing, is like at least one of the dragons has got to go down.
Yeah.
I feel. I don't know if this season or not, but so, and then
And
yeah.
I think of too, they're gonna have to start building a lot more of those, because if they hit one dragon, the other dragons are gonna go
Yeah,
crazy.
you would think
so.
they need more, so they should have like a whole unit of them or
Crew,
something.
yeah.
But I don't know, so we'll see. So yeah, their scenes were pretty short, Cersei and Jaime and stuff, and so was Sam. Sam's just still in the Citadel trying to study, like, so. I know there's a lot of time that's lapsed, but like, which is another issue kind of we still have, even though they haven't done teleporting. Well, maybe a little bit, but is that, you know, he was studying, trying to find the dragon, or the dragon glass.
During that
And so it's like, so, you know, last episode he was kind of like, oh, this is going to take forever, but then he's like, oh, here it is, like, okay, cool, that's convenient, like, right away, but maybe he's looking for a while, but he just got into that back part in that episode to get those books or whatever, and, well, okay, he got lucky, and now he's, like, found the stuff on the grayscale to help Jorah Mormont, and so his mentor is, you know, trying to tell him, you know, this is impossible, and the people who've done this are professionals, and they've done all this, and they themselves died from it because the procedure is so dangerous. But, you know, Sam he seems to be like a
save the day kind of guy.
Yeah, like, save the day, like, he's kind of like, he's comic relief, and he's kind of like, just happens to stumble upon all these things, and happens to know how to do all these things, and I mean, it's almost like kind of like the idiot savant thing in different ways, but like, you know, even way back in the series with the White Walker, and he had the glass thing, dragon glass dagger or whatever it was, and killed the White Walker. It was like, you know, it's just like these things kind of happen with him. So, but still, it seems to be kind of going for a stretch here. So now he's trying to help Jorah with his grayscale, and he was, you know, Jorah was pretty much writing his like letter to Daenerys or whatever, and because he was gonna himself. So, but so yeah, I don't know. You think they're gonna find a cure?
I don't know. He was very close to his.
I don't know. Yeah, he was really close, and I feel like if you touch it, or if you get whatever, like whatever that stuff, the pus, like whatever, on you, I feel like you would then catch it. I don't know. I don't know enough about grayscale, but yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I kind of was hoping they couldn't find a cure for it. Something that's just like, so it's not like all these like miracles and stuff, but we'll see.
We'll see.
So,
yeah.
And then we had Arya, who was traveling south to the capital, but happened to visit Hot Pie. Yeah. So we haven't seen him for a while, and he became a baker and stuff. He stayed behind, I think, a while back. Yeah, what did you think of that scene?
Well, it was quite the gruesome cutscene from.
Oh yeah. That was a good cut.
It was a good cut.
Yeah, where Sam's like goes in to poke in, and then it like showed, and I was like, oh god, what the? But it was like, you know, super pod pie or whatever. Yeah. So, but yeah, so the transitions and the scenes were really good, and they do really good with like, now they're doing it like where their last thing they hint at kind of leads into the next scene and stuff. But so yeah, but you know, she found out basically Jon was King of the North. I don't know how she doesn't know that up until that point. Right. Like, especially if she was with the Greyjoys, we kind of discussed like, I felt like the Greyjoys, sorry, the Freys, like if she was there and spying or whatever, that there would be some word of mouth that like the son and brothers of those that they had slain would potentially be a problem if he's become King of the North. Like that would be talk, but obviously she didn't hear it there, so that's something I kind of had an issue with. But yeah, so otherwise she, you know, I liked. Because I was wondering, you know, I think people are asking, like, is she going to be torn or whatever, and obviously she was, and kind of almost surprisingly, she decided to head north to go back with Jon. So I thought that was good. I liked that she had to struggle with it a little bit. They just kind of showed that, and then, you know, and later on, she, in her travels, she gets, like, an unexpected visit from an old friend. And that was Nymeria, who I actually like that scene a lot. I mean, I love the direwolves a ton, and I think her direwolf was gone in like season 1 or 2 or something. The confrontation with Joffrey when he bit him or whatever, and then she told him to go, you know. Yep. So 'cause she knew that they would kill him. So, and that's why Sansa was killed instead. But so yeah, I don't know. I like that a lot. I like that they show that like. Wasn't really familiar with her either anymore, or even if was, I mean, it was a little, but
not enough to trust her.
Yeah, Nymeria is just like, you know, I don't really know you, I don't know what to trust you, whatever. But so I figured you would like that scene a lot.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, and you know, didn't want to venture north with her to go home. So.
Yeah. So, but I guess it's my other prediction. I feel like she's gonna get in some kind of trouble. And all of a sudden, Nymeria is going to be there with all the wolves and really fuck shit up. So, so I don't know. We'll see. That's my hope. And then kind of the biggest one here is the Daenerys. These kind of all run together here. What we were going to talk about, but started off with Daenerys. They're still in the chamber. They're discussing battle plans. Yeah. And I don't know. This is where the teleporting kind of thing comes in, because I don't believe that Olenna and Tyrell and the Ilario, I think it's Ilario Sand from Dorne were there. I know they were approached by Varys, who kind of teleported from where they were, and then, you know, from across the sea or whatever, and then suddenly he was there when it just happened that the Tyrell was meeting with. Yeah. Like the Sand sister or the Sand, and so like it's like, well, that's convenient, whatever. But now they're all at Dragonstone, and everybody's coming to Dragonstone. It feels like, and that's cool. But I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, everybody kind of knows, and I guess Varys, would have told them or whatever, but they somehow got there. I don't know how many troops they have or whatever. They're just suddenly there in the chamber, like, discussing battle plans.
Right.
So,
yeah. I kind of feel like that with the scene with all these big characters, it almost feels like, at least in this episode, the smaller cutscenes of, like, individual actors is stronger than when there's a whole bunch of big heads in the room. Because I felt like there was not a lot of, I don't even know the word to describe it, but
no,
it was just kind of like jarring a little bit with the conversations and stuff. I don't know.
Well, I feel like they just, I mean, this is part of my issues, like, so like in this chain they're discussing, and then Tyrell's question their plans, and then you have Tyrion who's like, well, that's because you will be doing this, and then we're going for Castle Rock.
Yeah.
And so, like, or Casterly Rock, and like suddenly, like, despite their issues with the battle plan, that somehow then was like, oh, and then they're like, I'm with you,
right.
Like, and all that. So even though they're questioning these things, it seems they feel like they're maybe being used as fodder, because you're going to have the Tyrells, I'm assuming by land, come in, and then the Greyjoys bring up Ilario Sand back to Dorne, get her troops, and then sail down and then attack the capital. And I'm assuming Tyrell will attack the capital from wherever they come from, and I'm imagining surround and try to converge on it. And they didn't like that, and then all of a sudden, after saying, oh, the Unsullied, we're going here, then everything's okay.
Right.
Like, that one little blip was, like, enough to throw them and be like, all right, we're with you 100%, like, kind of thing. Which,
yeah.
I mean, obviously you had Olenna, who was not too keen, because she eventually talked to Daenerys about, like, your little hand is a clever fellow, but
right.
But that's whatever. But and that's the thing. You have these scenes, even with one with, like, I think with Jon a little bit, but, like, these people don't agree with them. There's this confrontation. It seems to be like a formula they're using. Like, there's always that confrontation, always questioning, and then all of a sudden they'll say something, and then everybody's like, oh, and they'll show, like, the little scenes, or like they showed Ilario Sand, like, smirk, like, oh, like,
yeah.
So, like, they show these little cuts of all these other characters, and they all, like, are in agreement then, and Varys, like,
Right.
So it's like, and speaking of Varys, like, so, I mean, I had a little issue with that, like, all of them just agreeing.
Yeah.
And then Daenerys confronted Varys about his loyalties.
Right.
And they've been so back and forth and whatever, and he tried to explain it was for the realm and people.
Yeah.
But it was like...
He was saving his teeth, I feel like.
Well, yeah, he was in a way, but he's always kind of said his is the realm, but I'm kind of like, she's questioning that now?
Right.
Like, so hardcore at that moment. And I'm like, so, I don't know if it's just a plot device for what came later, because then Melisandre, the Red Witch, showed up. And, yeah, they were basically, she was there, and she was, I think, just trying to join them. She says she has some part in the Great Plan, and Varys was like, I don't know what you foresee in the fire. And then she brings up Jon Snow, hence why a raven was sent to Jon Snow to come to Dragonstone to swear loyalty and kneel to her as the queen, future queen of Westeros. So, I don't know. I mean, and the Melisandre thing, I was like, how did she know to go there?
Right.
I guess. And I guess she could say visions, and that's kind of what Varys was saying. And I feel like that's kind of weak, but...
Yeah.
So, there's all these people. You got the Tyrell, you got Sand, you got Melisandre, and they just all are coming. I know some of them were summoned, but I'm kind of wondering, like, you got the Unsullied there, but maybe I'm forgetting. I thought the Dothraki were there. Even Jaime mentioned to Randall about them allowing, like, Olenna allowing the Dothraki across the Great Sea or whatever to, which is pretty much for the first time unheard of, like, to kind of vein for his loyalty,
Yeah.
But, and having switch oaths, but I'm like, where are they?
I don't know. Yeah.
I haven't seen them, and I mean, because it's a cultural difference between them being unruly and savage and just no rules, like, in terms of what would be considered civilized, and they got the Unsullied, which are very strict and very honorable and whatever, you know,
Right.
and disciplined. And it's like, I would think these two would clash hardcore.
Right.
But, like, I'm also like, where are the Dothraki and the Dragonstone and the surrounding areas that set up camps?
Right.
But even if they do, are they just allowing random people to come in, like Melisandre? Like, I mean, I don't know their setup. They're not giving us any kind of setup as to what is actually... You got these scenes, but what's happening to kind of, like, bring it together in a way?
Right.
Like,
it's all just, they're just there, and then you have to somehow piece it together.
Just assume that, like, there's no issues with Dothraki, that the Red Witch walked through them, or the camps, or whatever. Like, I don't know the setup, so it's a little irksome, but again, might be nitpicking. So, but so yeah, you got pretty much, you know. Then we got the scene from there where the in that discussion, battle plans were for the Greyjoys, Yara and Theon to take up Alara's Sand and the Sand Snakes, the Sand Sisters, Snake Sisters, whatever they call them, her daughters, back to Dorne, Sunspear or whatnot, and get her armies and then come down. And then they do the attack. But they are confronted by Euron. Out of the blue, kind of a deal. You had this nice, like, kind of funny scene, kind of with Theon and Yara and Ilario and stuff, and then they're attacked, and then we got the action. This was pretty much the action filling out towards the end of the episode, really. So Euron attacks. I have an issue that he happens to find their ship that they're on. Like, okay, that's theirs, and that's the one they happen to get to. So I don't know if they're in point. And, like, all the leaders are just in the front of the fleet. I don't know warfare or how that. I know they were just traveling to Sunspear, but, you know. But then you got the fact that is, like, out of the blue, like, they couldn't see this fleet coming.
Right.
Nobody saw this coming.
And they made the scene look like it's very foggy, misty at night. Like, you won't be, like, it was just...
Yeah, because the ships come out of the fog, and, like, all of a sudden, like, and so they could see them.
Right.
Like, so that kind of stuff was, like, I don't know. I know they tried to make it pretty epic, too, when Euron come in, like, it's like, I don't know, like, drawbridge or, like, something slam down, crush a guy, which was cool. I mean, he's supposed to be very, from what I remember, like, because I told you he was kind of, like, he's kind of crazy, like, in a way, and, like, it's not really touched on too much in this, like, I've read it is in the books, and he's kind of have, like, these mystical kind of abilities or, like, auras about him, but, yeah, so, you know, it was pretty cool seeing, like, fighting and stuff. I just kind of was like, okay, they burnt everything, and so, I don't know, what'd you think of the scene?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good action scene, but it wasn't, like you said, it was, how did they just find them
out of the blue, like, because they, like, it would be one thing, because at first I thought they were going to Castle Rock, or to the capital almost. I thought they were already going. I had forgotten that they were going back to Dorne and then coming back. So they would have had to find them going on that trajectory. I don't know the map very well, admittedly, but they would have had to find them. And then not only that, but there was, like, a mist and, like, fog that obviously they couldn't see, but they could see. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me, and that kind of stuff bothers me, storytelling wise. Like, it'd been one thing if all of a sudden they saw him and it's like, oh crap, it's Euron's fleet. Like, and then they come in and Euron is maybe not even on there. He's just attacking because maybe he won't know what boat they're on or whatever. And then it's just this huge war scene, like skirmish deal.
It almost felt like it's, we're at the end of episode 2. We don't have a fight scene yet.
Well, it's more like we've got 2 seasons that are shortened and we got to crush everything together because for some reason we don't want 10 seasons or something at full length. But either way, it's kind of like, what the hell? So, you know, it was still a good scene, and Euron was messing stuff up. You know, he took out 2 Sand Sisters or Sand Snakes or whatever. And, he pretty much was wrecking house. I mean, went in there and grabbed Yara. And, you know, and then we had the moment with Theon where they had just kind of discussed about he was, like, Yara's protector and there to be by her side. And then there was that confrontation where Theon was becoming overwhelmed and Euron had, you know, Yara and was taunting him. And I guess I thought that you had your, I thought he was going to finally, like, kind of like snap and, like, just charge at him. Maybe even potentially die.
Yeah.
But at least try, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of felt the opposite.
Yeah, no, I felt like he was overwhelmed by it all, and it really just showed how broken of a character, like him, how he is through all his trials.
Yeah.
And how he's just been beaten down.
Yeah.
And he jumped ship, literally.
Yeah, he choked, and he literally just bailed off the ship.
Yeah.
And I thought, I like that scene where he's looking at stuff, and you could tell he was like getting whatever, and I was hoping it was going to be the trigger towards, going after him and because my thing was with like Sansa, he like protected her and saved her and rescued her, and those were like brave things. So like when it's his sister, whatever, but
Yeah. But, Sansa was who he grew up with, too, so...
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
it's kind of like the torn of, like, biological family versus, born into family kind of.
So he was just more driven to help Sansa because he knew her more because he got brought in as a young child. So that's true. I guess that's possible. I guess I just was hoping that he would whatever. So he just jumped in, and honest to God, I was hoping what he would do. Because then they just showed him floating on a piece of wood, watching the ship sail on, and but at that point I was like, dude, one, you're already kind of a douche, and you're always kind of like back and forth being douche or whatever.
Right.
I just wanted him to let go and drown, literally kill. Like you just let Euron take your sister or whatever, just fucking get it over with, man.
Yeah.
They could still be building up to where he actually does something.
Right.
But I would rather if he just tried to do something in that moment, especially when they just talked about it, and I know it's different, whatever, because he's seen battle. He was fighting in there.
Right.
So it's just the other battle stuff shouldn't bother him because he was going at it.
Right.
And then it was just when he was being taunted and his sister was in danger, and then you choke. I don't know. I was kind of yeah, I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah. So it's become apparent. I was hoping it was Tyrion. I guess that was wishful thinking for me. The gift for Cersei that he was going to bring. So it's going to be obviously Yara, but more so Ilario, I think her name is. Ilario Sand. So, but because Ilario was the one who kind of and the Sand Snakes were the ones who murdered their kids and stuff. So I guess that should have been known, but I was really hoping they would have to go for Tyrion because he also killed his father, and they think one of her sons. So, but it's going to be Yara, and they took Ilaria prisoner, and the last remaining Sand Snake's daughter that I'm aware of, unless there's others that aren't old enough to be out. I guess I don't know. So they were kind of okay characters, but nothing huge for me. So, but so. That was pretty much the epic end scene, the big battle and such, and but then I just want to touch on there was that kind of an emotional moment with Grey Worm and Missandei. So
yeah, I mean it was you finally got to see a little bit of Grey Worm. He noted how brave he's always been. He doesn't have fears.
He's always stoic. He doesn't.
Yeah, he
really
doesn't show emotion, but
so.
he broke down in that scene.
Yeah, finally, because he's kind of built up to it throughout the seasons, and that there was that connection and attraction and his feelings and this and that, and so it was nice that finally kind of took place, and it could, depending on what happens down the road, become even more dramatic. So, but yeah, so that was the season 7, episode 2, Stormborn, and I think we talked about some of it. We've got some issues with some of the time things because the Ravens now are kind of like the time warp things. Ravens are sent everywhere, and then everybody happens to know everything. So it's rather than the traveling, except maybe the Tyrells and Ilario Sand being in Dragonstone and everything else. But so I can't remember. Was there any kind of critiques? The episode wise, I didn't think it was a very strong episode.
No.
I mean the battle stuff was kind of cool, but I still had some issues just logically it taking place.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think the stronger scenes for me were the less dramatic ones.
Yeah.
Were the smaller scenes with Sam, the smaller scenes with Arya, even the Grey Worm scene. Some of those scenes were
I feel like those
way
were
more stronger than the ones with all these other strong.
Yeah, I think
Daenerys
characters was weak again.
Yeah.
I thought hers were just even Tyrion, like he seems kind of like really downplayed now, where he used to be like a very like snappy.
And
like,
that's where I'm thinking it's
character.
like, because there's so many of those scenes with Daenerys where it's like really strong, bold characters in the previous seasons, and now they're all looped into one.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, I feel like there's just like not a dynamic with all those characters together.
Yeah, I don't know. And then also I just feel they just kind of have her like, I know she's trying to be queen and she's all this and she's all like, you know, she's always just kind of like all pristine and like uppity or whatever, kind of like, and I get that to an extent, but it's just like, that's like all she's doing.
Right. And, you know, and like in some of the former seasons where I grew to really like her is she has a little bit more of that warmth to her character, and that's just not showing through as much.
Which is maybe okay, because maybe that's a change, that's whatever, like maybe it's just, you know, but I don't know.
We'll
so
see.
I don't know, my Omanet's rating, I can't remember, I think we posted, I don't know if we talked about it, but mine for this episode was probably only like a 7.5.
I was kind of leaning towards the same, 7.5. It was an okay episode, but it wasn't like the first one.
It was more build up with a little more action at the end, but the build up's kind of, you know, whatever. Some good scenes, but some of it, like, and then you got the action and stuff, and even with the discussion of the battle plans, I still felt were kind of flawed, or they feel flawed to me. They're just kind of like, I'm worried they're rushing stuff, so we'll see. I mean, once stuff gets really into it, maybe you'll have another, because I love the Battle of the Bastards and all that. Yeah. And, you know, that was a great scene, the Capitol scene in last season, so, you know, I don't know. They're bound to be those in there, so hopefully they're just trying to, like, quicken the pace to get to these, I guess. I don't like that, but they don't have a choice, so. But yeah, how about you? Did you see this episode? What did you think of it? What do you think is going to happen now, especially with, like, Yara and Ilario being taken prisoner? I'm assuming, again, a gift to Cersei, because that was a big battle plans for Daenerys. And, you know, do you think Nymeria is going to rescue or help Arya eventually? You know? Stuff like that. How do you think the Grey Worm Missandei romance is going to go? Is going to end tragic?
Is Sam going to cure Grayscale?
Yeah, it's going to cure Grayscale. is Jorah going to be okay?
Yeah.
I like the character, but I feel like it's just, that would just be all these little miracle happening things. It's like, no. It's just, make it dramatic, make him whatever, I don't know.
Maybe he'll get Grayscale.
Yeah. Maybe. Ooh, Sam got Grayscale, that'd be crazy. So, but, and what about... how do you think the meeting with Jon and Daenerys is going to go? That might come next season. We don't watch the previews for coming episodes, so we don't know if in the next episode they're going to actually meet. But throughout the season, obviously they will. And waiting to see some more White Walker action beyond just them walking.
Yeah, we don't know anything more about Bran.
Yeah, and Bran. Bran has been gone. Bran and, I had her name last time. Dang it. Mira, I think.
Yes.
So but maybe we'll get more of that in the wall and stuff. But so let us know in the comments below what you thought of the episode and some of your predictions with what's transpired. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more content. Hopefully throughout this video I've had some screenshots this time. I'll be able to do that now and get some stills or whatever. And otherwise, in the meantime, watch some other videos. And until next time, take care.
Bye.